Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast, and I'm delighted for the first time since May to be joined by Eddie Hearn. I've not seen you since Vegas when Haney fought Devin Haney. Yeah, so
you're stateside now, aren't you? Pretty much, you know. You only
can you tell the accent. I've got that American accent going on, man.
No, don't do that. You only do the big American shows.
No. Listen, good to see you. It's been a while, like I said. So let's talk why we're in this gym. We're here with Teofimo Lopez's workout. He's got a good fight finally against Kambosos. You came in, stepped in and saved the day. Eddie Hearn with his cape on. I mean, talk to me about this fight.
Love the fight, and a pleasure to be promoting Teofimo Lopez and the fight in general, because he is a star. He's a real character. I think he's still like a bit unsure about me. And I came in here for the Zone did some filming today, and then I came in to see him, and he kind of looks at me out of the corner of his eye as if to say, I'm not sure about you. Do you know what I mean? But I respect him, and I think he's a great character. I think it's what the sport needs. I think we've got to look at the younger generation now, the future stars. Now, you've got these great fighters that you've seen in big fights and on pay-per-view recently, but they're all getting on. They've all got a 3 at the start of their age, really. And this generation, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, you know, all these kind of people, that's the future of the sport. And you know, it's a pleasure to promote that fight, and then even better now to get Haney against Diaz the week after, because I want to put those two in spring next year, and they're both ready to sign and make that happen.
Well, you say they're both ready. We've heard that before as fans, like they're both ready to sign, and we don't ever get the fight. But obviously, Eddie, how confident are you're going to get this one across the line? I mean, back in Fresno, I've seen they were going at it, man. They both won it.
They're both ready to do that fight. They've got tough fights to get through. You know, Devin has a tougher fight, in my opinion. No disrespect to Kambosos, he's got to prove himself. But they've both got fights they could lose if they're not on the ball. But really, we are ready to make that fight on ESPN, on DAZN, on both. It doesn't really matter, you know. And I believe Bob would make that fight as well. The one thing I say about Teofimo Lopez is, when I was watching him earlier on, I thought, that's the guy that beat Lomachenko. And I feel like sometimes we forget that. You know, everybody was having wet dreams about Lomachenko, weren't they? And you know, when he beat Commey, I couldn't believe they took the Lomachenko fight. I thought it was a really bad move, because I thought, wow, you got a star here, really, in Teofimo Lopez. And he went in and he won that fight. So we should give him the credit for that, really, because, you know, everyone was talking about Lomachenko like he was a pound for pound number 1 or 2. He beat him. So you've got to put him. It's only really where the problems of the Kambosos fight and that momentum have stopped people talking about him. But he's one of the biggest stars in the sport. So, you know, for me, I think we need to get behind him, and we need to get behind that fight on November 27th.
The reason why you think he's unsure about you is maybe because of the whole, he's not a franchise champion, because Devin Haney. Do you think that might be it?
Look, at the end of the day, people don't recognise the franchise championship when you're unified, right? So when Devin Haney is the WBC world champion, for me, there are governing bodies out there that don't look at him as the undisputed champion. So if I've got Devin Haney, as far as I'm concerned, he's not the undisputed champion. He should be the undisputed champion, but it didn't play out like that. So therefore, the only way to find out who the true undisputed is Teo against Devin Haney. But he'll never agree with me on that, and the dad definitely won't. But, you know, it doesn't really matter, because we don't have to get on. We just have to do good business. But I prefer it when we get on, because, like I say, he's a character, and I think he's brilliant for the sport.
Talking about getting on with people, do you get the vibe that you're not wanted in Vegas, Eddie? I mean, come on, PBC, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I said to my old man today, I said, wow, people can't stand us. He said, what do you expect? He said, you've gone over there, you've taken it to them, you're just a Brit who's gone overseas. I said, they probably don't particularly like you, and they're probably, you know, not afraid of you, but it's quite flattering. You know?
I don't like you, though. I mean, you always got a smile on your face, you're quite polite.
I actually think I'm quite a nice geezer. I do, actually. But I guess if you don't know me, I don't know.
Just because you're stepping on their toes, maybe?
Yeah, that as well. But I wouldn't, if I was them, I wouldn't like me. You know, I'm just coming over, I'm telling everyone I'm the biggest promoter in the world, you know, and... Yeah, I'm smug if you don't know me. That is what I truly believe. But I kind of like it like that way, Andy. I don't really want them to... If they welcome me with open arms, it's not very flattering. Let's just do this after, because Tio's doing his thing now.
Yeah, we'll pick up, but no. Just picking this back up with Eddie Hearn. Yeah, Eddie, we cancelled quickly because obviously the main man, Teofimo, was going over there to do his media scrum, but I believe you were talking about how nobody likes you in Vegas.
Yeah, no,
apart from me.
Not even in Vegas, mate, just America in general. No, listen, it is what it is. It's flattering. But I quite like it that way, as I said. You know, it's kind of me against the world out here. And wouldn't want it any other way.
I want to talk about why another reason why you're here. Obviously, the Haney press conference will look this week as well. But you are here to support your friend Canelo Alvarez. He is your friend. Friends. He is your friend. He's a good friend. Well, he is a good friend now, man. He's finally done it. He's there. He wanted the undisputed in 2021. We're almost there. We're 2 days away, I believe. Obviously, you're not promoting this fight. I'm guessing you would like to before. But just talk to me about this fight, man. How good is Canelo and what he's done in this 11 months since the Callum Smith fight? I mean, what an achievement.
Amazing. I mean, I've never met someone with as much confidence and belief as him. We were playing a bit of poker with him last night. Maurizio Suleiman took all the money, wherever he is somewhere. I've got to owe him a few quid.
The question is, how much you lose?
Money. Just the belief, you know, and that comes through hard work. Obviously, you have to have the talent, but he puts the work in to know that he's in a great place, and he doesn't see him getting beaten by anyone, and Caleb Plant included. Caleb Plant is a really good fighter. I think he's coming in here in a minute. When you look at the resumes, he's just not boxed anyone at elite level. It doesn't mean he hasn't got the ability to compete at that level, but you can't back against Canelo Alvarez in this fight. But I do think he's a good fighter, and I think it'll be a good fight.
Talking about resumes and that, the scenario you mentioned there with Teofimo and Lomachenko, pound for pound number one, everyone was sucking his balls, I think you said. This Canelo's not Lomachenko in your eyes. You believe that there's no slip-ups here?
That's a good question. I mean, the same with Tio. When Tio boxed Lomachenko, I thought it was a bad move doing that, because he's just beaten Conley. I thought this kid could be a star. But he'd never beaten anyone at that kind of level. But if you've got it in you, you can do it. And Caleb may have it in him, but I will just never back against Canelo Alvarez. I just being him around, like I think you're unbeatable. Like I just can't see anyone. It's just the mindset. But it's a good fight, and Caleb Plant's a great champion.
I spoke to you in the lobby of the MGM, and since I don't know if it's just because he's speaking English, like now we're starting to see more of his character, his persona, and the way he is in that way. He's quite a cheeky chappy as well, and all that sort of stuff. And he does have a little bit of, well, I don't know what, fire in him. When people give him it, he fires back. We never saw that when he was speaking Spanish.
Well, I spoke to him about it last night when he said about. I said your English is getting so much better, and he said I never used to believe that it was good enough to speak it, but obviously being around UK media, me, for the Callum fight and the Billy Joe, yeah, but I just think he's just gone, you know what, and now I said, he doesn't make mistakes, really. His English it's not perfect, but it's really, really good. And people just, I think, have embraced him because they've got to see the real him. Sometimes you can mistake his confidence for arrogance. He's just really confident, but he's a humble guy. I don't want to sound like a, love-struck fan, but I'm a love-struck fan. I just think he's a great, like he's a good laugh. He's one of the lads. He's funny. But he's also a mean motherfucker, and he's ruthless, and that's why I just don't see him getting beat.
Eddie, obviously you're close with Canelo, and I think it was your Instagram live you mentioned about him fighting in the UK. In the top of my head, I'm starting to think like UK super middleweights that are at that level that can face him in the UK, or is there anyone you can bring over? I spoke to him yesterday, I mentioned that to him. He says it might not be in 2022, but he does want to come to the UK. You're the promoter, will we see him in the UK at some stage?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's in such a unique position now where after this fight he'll look at his various opportunities, but he wants to fight around the world. He'd love to fight in the UK, I know that. You've got John Ryder, who's mandatory at 168. You've got Chris Eubank, is a really good fight as well for the UK market. I just believe that before his career is over, he will fight in the UK, he will fight in Mexico, he will fight in Japan, he will fight in the Middle East. And I would love to be a part of that, obviously.
John Ryder then, any news on John Ryder?
No, he had an opportunity to fight Bivol in December in Russia, but we wanted to see if there was an opportunity to do that fight in the UK or in America early next year. So, but John's training ready, and it's a big, not even ambition, necessity to deliver him a shot, because I feel that way personally, and obviously him and Tony are very close, me and Tony are very close. I want to make sure John Ryder gets a really big fight.
Talking about big fights, Chisora Parker card was announced on your Instagram. I've seen all the fights with Buatsi and all these guys. I mean, just break down that card for me quickly.
It's a brilliant card. I mean, we went on sale with Fight Pass today, did huge numbers. General sale tomorrow, Friday. I mean, I'm a bit nervous about Vlasov's fight, because Vadim Kornilov from World of Boxing said he thinks that Vlasov's a favourite in that fight, but I just believe that Buatsi's going to show his quality in that fight. You saw Vlasov against Joe Smith. It was a very close fight for the world title, but it's the perfect fight, I believe, for Buatsi just to tick the final boxes before challenging for a world title himself. Gongora against Lerone Richards, brilliant fight. I mean, again, massive respect for both guys. Gongora, fight of the year contender when he won the world title, and then good defence last time out. Lerone Richards has looked almost invincible at that level that he's been boxing. Different kind of level against Gongora. Great fight. Great fight for Zelfa Barrett against Torimo. That's an eliminator for the IBF to face the winner of the IBF title that we got on our card, Fuzili against Agawa. Really good fight for Jack Cullen. Gets his shot at the European title, which I'm really chuffed for him for. David Naika, the Olympic medalist, on that card. Jordan Thompson after a great win. Rihanna Dixon, pleased to see her on the card. Callum French debuting on that card. And actually another pretty big championship fight still to be added for that card. It's a mad night, December 18th.
I'm going to speak to Cook and see if I can get that one. Speaking about Buatsi then, I mean, Bob Adam was running about here somewhere. I think he took one look at you and done a run already, to be honest. But he's got Joe Smith, he's got Bertabiev with Top Rank. Buatsi, is he still learning before he goes in with these guys? A couple more fights?
One more. Vlasov's the fight. Once you beat Bolotniks and Vlasov, you have to go and fight for a world title. We've obviously got Bivol. That's a good fight for Buatsi. Joe Smith's a great fight. Bertabiev is, for me, probably the toughest or most dangerous fight of the division. But just get through Vlasov, and then I think Buatsi's ready.
I want to stay with the top rank matchroom thing. Tyson Fury, Dylan Whyte. Any news on that? Is that no?
Maurizio, he was here earlier, Maurizio, after taking the money last night. And
that sanctioning fee.
Actually, I think Canelo ended up taking the money, but you have to confirm that. We are waiting. The convention's coming up in just over a week, and I believe the Dillian Whyte fight will be ordered then against Tyson Fury. Great fight. I think, why wouldn't you want to see that fight? And hopefully we can get it over the line.
UK, because there's some people have talked about coming out to Vegas for that fight. I mean, it's a big fight for Vegas with the numbers and generate.
I think UK, but Fury's a big name here now. You know, after he's been fighting over here the last 3 years. So great fight wherever it is. I'd like to see it in the UK, and looking forward to finally seeing Dillian get a shot.
Anthony Joshua, I mean, the Usyk thing and all that. Did you see Coogan was on TalkSport with his interview with? He got the exclusive with Joshua. So TalkSport. Simon Jordan's even a fan.
How many views is that up to?
It's up. It'll be 1 million by tomorrow, I'd reckon.
Wow, fair play. Yeah, I think it's just one of those moments where AJ was like, I want to do something. So called up Coogan and got it done. And I think I like what I see from AJ at the moment. You know, people are talking about, oh, he looks this, he looks that. He's just motivated. He's excited for the rematch. He's excited to make changes that he believes can be beneficial to his performance, and he wants to beat Alexander Usyk. So good interview from Coogan, big on the numbers as always, which is good for him, and looking forward to starting his preparation for the rematch.
Could you give me a good quote then, Eddie, so I can get my 1 million with you? Just say something outlandish.
I'm sure you'll pull something out. You lot mainly put the quote I didn't even say.
That's not me. That's not me.
Clickbait.
That's not me. Eddie, that's not me. If I don't know what to say, I just say Eddie Hearn Raw. Conor Benn, December 11. We was talking about Guerrero and Amir Khan. I mean, he does need that big name now. He's 18-0, 19-0, I believe, Conor Benn. So is it going to be a big name?
It will be, yeah. I mean, we're pretty much. I saw his opponent today, actually.
Oh, really? Who?
You'll find out probably tomorrow. It's the guys we've been mentioning for a long time are the guys that we want to see him in with. So he's ready for that big step up. It's going to be a very tough fight for him, but he believes he's ready for that new challenge. Big profile fight, great arena in Liverpool, and looking forward to seeing him in action.
A couple more. You won the purse bids for Leewood, McCollin. Great fight down there. Where would that be?
Could be City Ground, Nottingham. Could be MSG for Paddy's Day. Would be crazy. Could be Belfast. I mean, lots of opportunities. We have to get those contracts in. I think it got about 2 weeks before we get those contracts in. Brilliant fight. Really looking forward to promoting that on DAZN.
Mick Collins said, does he get a free subscription on DAZN since he's fighting on it?
I think he's getting enough money to sign up himself, to be fair.
Definitely. Eddie, I want to talk about Scott Fitzgerald on Twitter today. I know you've worked closely with him and stuff like that, and there was some photos. I mean, it's sad to see. I mean, I'd really hate to see it, but a quick word for Scott.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this has been an ongoing situation for over a year now. I'm sure it'll be documented anyway, but Scott went into rehab, into Sporting Chance, over a year and a half ago. And he came out of there, and we hoped that he was moving in the right direction. Boxing, when you have problems like that, boxing can sometimes be the saviour, but it can also mask the problem. So, and when you're not in that environment, you go back into that bad place. The problem is that Scott doesn't feel like he needs help, and he does need help. And as bad as those pictures that we saw were, I'm hoping that will be the moment where he looks himself in the mirror and says, I do need help, you know. We got him back in the ring, you know, in an 8-rounder, and I hope that it would move him in the right direction, and it did. And then, you know, he was supposed to fight again, and he started missing training, and, you know, his dad was looking out for him, and, you know, although I'm not in Preston or around there, I'm across the situation on a weekly basis, sometimes a daily basis, and Steve Wood is doing everything he can, his manager, his dad is doing everything he can, but it just goes back to the fact that Scott doesn't or didn't feel like he needs help. And you have to, you know, sometimes you can't get someone help until they acknowledge that they need it. And, you know, what we saw today shocked the life out of me, because that was a good example, you know, that showed where he was at, and that's a real low point in his life. So I spoke to Steve Wood today. We're going to be going to make sure that we talk to him and convince him to get help now, because forget being a wasted talent. Like the kid could be a world champion, but he's just got to be happy, you know. And it's very, very sad to see him. We'll be doing everything we can to help.
Well, I wish him all the best. Like, I'm glad you said all that, because it's good to hear that you've been keeping in touch with him and stuff like that. So I wish Scott all the best.
A lot, but it's just, you know, as I said, we'll speak very often, and I can tell sometimes when he needs that help, but he doesn't feel that he does. And I'll tell you what, it really pisses me off. The people around him, so-called friends, do you know what I mean? That can see this with their own eyes, yet let it happen. They're not real friends. Do you know what I mean? He needs to get away from that circle of people that are bringing him down. But he can't do that on his own now. He must get the help, and fingers crossed we can make that happen.
Definitely, and you've got a stack of media. You're probably going to be here for hours, Eddie, but listen, it'll be good to catch up with you after the Canelo fight and get your reaction on it, and thanks for doing this for IFL TV.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Thanks, Eddie.